Good afternoon, everyone. This is Richard Kuhns, author of How to Get Your Life Back from Morgellons, Chronic Lyme, and Other Skin Parasites, welcoming you back to the Q&A portion of the program. As stated before in the first segment, the AMA and FDA require me to inform you that we're not medical doctors. We don't treat, diagnose, cure, or mitigate any disease. Before you start the diet or accept any of our recommendations, please discuss them thoroughly with your doctor to make sure they do not interfere with any health problems. We can educate you how to use the King diet to your advantage, how to clean your environment, how to clean your skin, and build health with supplements, targeted supplements to build health and immune functioning. The one that we discussed in the earlier part is the allicin, our Garcillin product. Okay, got any questions, Chris?
A couple of quick questions. I have some issues around veins. I've noticed as of late my veins have become fluffier and protruding on my hands. And I'm wondering if, I don't know if it's connected to, the issues at hand here with the springtails, Morgellons, whatever.
Well, let me ask you a question, Anna. How are you doing with the diet? Have you made it work?
Yeah, to the best of my ability, yes.
What does that mean, to the best of your ability?
Well, I don't eat, anything that is not appropriate. One of the major issues here is the environmental.
Okay, I heard you talking. And before the program started, I heard you talking about being in mold-infested environments. Are you in a slightly mold-infested environment now?
Yes, and it's kind of beyond.
Are you taking Lufenuron? Are you using Lufenuron?
Oh, yeah, it's helped me tremendously.
Great.
Lufenuron is wonderful. No, I don't want to be without it. It certainly made a difference in my life.
Okay. Now, in terms of the diet, have you gotten yourself symptom-free, itch-free, biting-free?
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, and I think, the culprit is, some things, Richard, are beyond my control environmentally, unfortunately, Everyone has their own story. I'm trying to move forward, It's environmental. It's mainly environmental.
So you're basically saying you're getting reinfected from the environment.
Yeah, and I'm just wondering, I guess the question is if, I love your products, are there any products that could help me, with the vein issue? That's, my question mainly.
All I know is I'm far from an expert on veins. All I know is that many people who complete the questionnaire, that the protruding veins is generally an issue with Morgellons, and by the time they get their life back, it seems to be a non-issue. So I don't know how or why or when that happens, but the key is making the diet work. And I don't know what the issue is with your environment. You want to explain a bit?
Yeah, it's probably, in the carpet, in the HVAC, in the drywall,
So are you saying
it's complicated. I'm sorry.
Are you saying when you walk on the carpet you can feel activity?
No, not necessarily. It's mainly at night, when I'm trying to sleep, but it's gotten better with Lufenuron. There's definitely,
for instance, you mentioned the HVAC system. So
right.
if you're standing in front of the vent that is passing air out, not the intake vent, but the out vent, do you feel anything on your skin like biting or attacking it as it comes out of that vent?
Sometimes. It's hard to really say. Sometimes I do.
All right. Well, have you done anything to you're an apartment, so you basically have your own HVAC system, right?
Right. We had it cleaned a few years ago, and I understand from personal research, that some of these units are not made to be cleaned properly. You spend, monies to have it cleaned, and it didn't really do that much.
Well,
my husband changes the filters. We use good filters,
Okay. Now, I would say a couple of years ago would be insufficient. You would want to get that clean pretty quickly. And cleaning it may not be necessarily the total answer. Cleaning it, it's sort of like we have talked about the cabin filters in automobiles. You got your air circulating system, and it passes through this filter. It's called the cabin filter. That is named for the cabin of the car. So if that is not removed and removed and replaced, it's dirty and is impossible. Even if you are disinfecting the system, it's impossible to effectively get rid of all the contamination in that filter. Now, changing your filter, as you noted, is important, but this stuff still collects on the walls of your HVAC system. So the cleaning would clean the walls. Then the next step would be to use disinfectant. It could be as simple as ammonia, spraying ammonia into the intake until you smell it come out the outside, or putting an ozone generator there and letting the ozone go through, or using one of the disinfectants, whether it be Benefect or Mediclean, to disinfect the system. So you need to really take care of that. It's just not a matter of saying, well, I had it cleaned 2 years ago. This is, if you stand in front of these vents and you feel something coming and getting you on the face, or little ticks, like little tick bites, that's an issue, and you need to deal with it. And it will bother you all night long, because they're coming out and they're floating in the air, and they're going to get you on as you're sleeping.
So you mentioned about spraying, I appreciate this, Richard, spraying the ammonia in the intake. How would you dilute that? I mean, with that, I'd have to wear a mask and goggles. My husband could probably help me with that, but, to protect us, how would you?
Well, you want to be cautious. You don't want to spray too much. I mean, you can dilute it 1 to 3 or whatever. It doesn't matter. You don't even have to dilute it. And you just run the system, spray it in the intake, and have somebody stand at the outtake. And as soon as you smell the ammonia coming out, you stop spraying in.
Okay. So just a little bit in a spray bottle, and then stand away.
Yeah, a few squirts, and you're spraying it in, and you want to have a clean filter, a brand new filter, because
new filter, and it's not going to damage the system at all. It shouldn't damage.
That's why I'm saying you're not going to overdo it. You're just going to do it until you can smell it come through the system. You're not going to stand there and spray a whole half a gallon in.
Mhm. Okay, and how often do you think that would work to do it?
Well, you definitely might want to do it once a week for starters, and then go to once every. And I mean, you might do it once, and that's all you need to do. I don't know.
Just spray it in the intake, okay, and stand away.
First, get the ductwork clean. Get professional people in to clean it, to clean the walls.
I know it's hard to find. It's hard to find. Honorable people. That's the. It just is. It's just really hard here in Georgia.
I can't address that issue. I'm not an expert there. I can't address that issue.
I know. There's just to find integrity. That's,
okay. Did you have another question?
Yeah, I do. I want to. This is the other question I have about vinegar. There was something posted I saw online that vinegar using distilled white vinegar can precipitate aspergillus. And people say that it's better to use hydrogen peroxide. Have you heard anything about that? Vinegar being, not at all useful for, issues here?
My brain went blank. What's aspergillus?
Oh, it's, the mold, a form of the mold, which I was told a few years ago I had in my blood, which maybe it contributed to Morgellons and everything else that's going on in my system.
I really can't say. So you're asking about using vinegar to spray as a disinfectant?
Right. People are saying that it's problematic to use vinegar because, if you have aspergillus, because it can, promote aspergillus, which is a mold spore, and that's weird.
I'm not familiar with it, and I don't really. I mean, vinegar is something that certainly can be used, but, it's not my go-to. My go-to would be ammonia or any of the disinfectants we have for store.
Right, your cleanup enzymes products are great, but and people are saying that, again, there's so much controversy out there, it's hard to know. And people are saying hydrogen peroxide is a lot better to use. It doesn't promote mold spores, like vinegar does. I don't know. And in the many, remediation companies.
I'm not going to weigh in one way or the other on that. So, either one is fine with me. You just have to figure out which one works for you.
Yeah, thank you so much for everything you do, Richard. Appreciate it.
Thanks for keep coming back. Who's next?
Yes, I just had a question. You answered one question. But about Ensure, I had lost so much weight, and someone told me to drink Ensure. Would that interfere?
I'm pretty sure it's 100% off the diet. 100%. You have to read the ingredients, but there's a lot of junk in there.
Okay. I was wondering about that.
Okay. So I can give a plug if you're concerned about weight gain. Try our dark chocolate candy. It's got cocoa butter. I mean, can you imagine just taking and eating a lot of real butter? But you can eat a lot of cocoa butter and it tastes great.
Oh, okay. And I tried to download that e-book. I couldn't get it, so I'm just going to have to order.
But send me an email. Just return any email, and I'll send it to you as an attachment, and you can open up the attachment and save it, okay?
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Happy New Year. Keep coming back. How are you doing? Have you made the diet work?
That's why I couldn't download the diet. I couldn't.
Oh, okay. Well, all right. Send me an email, and I'll get you both the diet and the book. I'm glad you made it here today. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay. All right. Who's next, Chris?
You are so right about the Garcellin and everything. Since I have been on your products, and I've had Morgellons, I do not have the limes. They tested me. But I do have Morgellons, and I had a tapeworm bacteria because the cat that scratched me was infected with that. And before I knew what was going on, I almost died because I started losing weight and getting sick, and like you said, from what I was eating. But since I've been on the Garcellin and everything, I used to have bronchitis and sinus because I have allergies, and I have not had the disease that's out. I have not had a cold, the flu, and that's been nearly 2 years. I haven't. So I will say it works, guys. And when I stick right with it, I was just about to the end of stage 2, and Christmas came, and my sister made my mother's pecan pie recipe, and I ate a slab, mac and cheese and potato salad, and I like to have died.
Holy smoke, you went over the board.
I see, I had a weight issue all my years, and that's what I did for a living, was help people to lose weight, because I lost 100 pounds when I was about 30 and went to college, and that's what I did. But I had an issue with sugar all my life, when I was young. But I'll tell you right now, I went 5 days, right straight back to 1, just like Robin taught me and you. And the bites and the breakouts it was coming around my neck and ears and lips, and oh my gosh, black things, wormy things. I was like, oh my gosh, it was just not worth it. But I'm just about clean now again. So I am going to stay with week 1. My question is, what is the Lufenuron that you're talking about? I do take the boron, the Max 1, Garcellin, the multivitamin from you, the MSM gel, the Dream Cream. I use the peppermint oil, the debriding soap, and Sovereign Silver I use, which Robin said I can put it in my eyes and everything, so I've been doing all that. My bites are just about quit because I went back to stage 1, but I was using walnuts in the fudge that I make, but I think I'm going to order some of yours just to have some. And I wanted to ask you, the only issue I really have, because everything in my body is clearing up, including the vein issue that the lady a few minutes ago was discussing. They got in my ankle veins and caused an infection, and it took me 3 months to get rid of it. And, you know, before I knew about you, the antibiotics nearly killed my gut. And I'm like a person that's never had to be on medications, healthy, until this nightmare. And so I am thankful for finding you guys. And I use all your products faithfully. They do work. If you work it, it works. If you don't, it won't. And that's it. If you know, it's kind of like that saying, if you believe, you'll receive. And if you don't, you'll do without. And
Carol Ann, thank you so much for sharing your progress, and I'm so happy for you, because I know that it was quite a challenge for you. We had talked several times before, and
yes.
Yeah, thank you for the commercial for our products. You know, let me mention something. I love having the best products in the world, but people who come into this program, everything is free. You know, you get the information, you get the book, you get the diet, you get everything. In fact, you can get your life back like I did without having any of my products, because they weren't even available then. So
the diet.
The diet is the key. And
it is the key.
And I certainly appreciate you using my products, because they are the best to accelerate things, but it's not necessary. I only ask, you know, everybody uses toothpaste. We use laundry soap. We use dishwasher soap. We use so instead of buying them when you order monthly, just add them to your list and get them from us. They're all safe into the environment, and so just makes sense. So thank you so much, and I'm so happy for you. Happy New Year.
You too, and the question is about the Lufenuron, and also, can you give me a tip? You were talking to a lady a couple of weeks ago about gaining a little bit of weight. I need about 5 pounds, which is
well, yes,
unreal.
The thing about gaining weight is you can up your fat consumption, whether it be chicken skin or any kind of animal skin, or our dark chocolate is loaded with cocoa butter. So
the dark chocolate I can do better, because I have to watch too much fat because I have a hiatal hernia. So I can do it like in little spurts during the day. So that's what I'll do.
Here is the super duper news, because dark chocolate, our Dutch chocolate, our Dutch cocoa from which this is made, dark cocoa is the highest. I mean, it is even a higher free radical killer than glutathione.
Wow.
It is top of the list. Now, that's not the only thing. Because many of us are dealing with columbella, we're limited to the fact that we cannot have probiotics. Forget the fact that out of the hundreds of different strains, the probiotics you get in the store, you only get about a dozen of them, but still, we cannot have probiotics. But we focus on prebiotics. We go a little bit further. And it just turns out that cocoa is the best of all prebiotics that you can get. So you get a triple whammy. You get the cocoa butter, which helps gain weight. You get the free radical killer, which is going to protect your DNA. And you get the prebiotic, which is going to help build your gut biome. It's a triple play.
Okay. All right.
Now,
so when I'm having a flare-up, what should I increase just go like I'm doing straight back to stage 1? Should I increase the Max 1 or the Garcilin or the Multi or any of that?
Are you taking the herbal Parasite Stop Formula?
Yes, the Parasite Stop. I did increase that, and it went away in a couple of days.
Yeah, you up that. I take one a day. I'm upfront. I'm very transparent in terms of my life and what I deal with. And my environment around my house, it's a beautiful area. I got 1.5 acres. I live in a forest. I got trees all around. I got 4 inches of leaves out there. And I took my leaf blower Friday. It was a nice warm day. And I started blowing leaves for about 3 hours. Now, I haven't been dealing with Columbella or springtails for months, so I didn't even think about those things. Normally, I would put on my riding boots if I were to do this and thinking ahead. But I didn't put on my riding boots. I just went out with my regular shoes, and when I got done, my socks inside my shoes were all dirty and full of stuff, and Friday night I started feeling activity around my ankles. So,
oh my gosh!
Big deal. So I used my go-to is the skin lotion we have. So I use the skin lotion, and I up my Parasite Stop to 3 a day, and I'm fine.
Okay.
What could be a disaster?
6 to 3 a day, and then go down to 1 a day when you everything.
Whatever you need to. I don't know if I need 3, but I decided, hey, one little capsule is they're pretty big capsules, but
that is ironic that you just said that, because I went out and swept the leaves off the driveway before the conference call, and I felt activity around my legs and ankles. I thought, well, it's just from the, so I see it was from the leaves, because I've got trees around me too.
Well, when we go out,
this is good to know.
Yeah, when we go out, we should, if we're going to spend much time out in our environments, we should wear riding boots. But now, Lufenuron is a pet medication, and it is specifically to inhibit the production of fungal organisms, whether it's candida or a skin fungus or any other kind of fungal organisms there are hundreds of different fungal organisms, and in fact, there's a superbug, Candida auris, superbug. So the Lufenuron is to inhibit and help with fungal issues. Also with springtail infections, because the mouth parts of these organisms are also made of chitin. So it helps inhibit their ability. It helps the ability of them to reproduce. Now, people have written me and said, hey, Lufenuron cured me. No, it doesn't cure anything. It gets rid of the fungal cofactor, and that may make it easy to get your life back. So we also depend on these people. Shop for Morgellons.com, number 4, not spelled out, but with the number 4, to provide Fenben for intestinal parasites, Nithin for those of us who have skin mites living in our skin and we can't get rid of them. So,
okay, I need it. I need to order it then.
Yeah, it's up to you. I don't know if it would be important for you or not. I'm not here to sell you on that, but it sounds like you progressed pretty well without it, and you may not need it.
Oh, okay, that may be true, because I cleared it up pretty much by going to your stage 1.
Right.
And what I wanted to know, do you know of any sugar-free ketchup that we can just buy? Can we have popcorn on stage 2, or just plain, or do we have to wait till we get to 3?
I think popcorn would be about end of stage 2, beginning of stage 3. I think there is a brand of sugar-free ketchup. I don't recall offhand. It might be even
vinegar in it. Is that a no-no for us, isn't it?
Yeah, vinegar until you get to stage 2 at least. But you're already, if you're there, then it's probably okay for you if you're in stage 2.
Okay. Yeah, I am. I'm not going to go back to stage 2 for about another 3 or 4 days to try to get this completely under control. But we eat so well. Let me tell you, the nurses that took care of my ankles and all that and got that healed, See, they deal with everything but Morgellons, so you just don't say a word, because after you go to about 7 doctors and spend all your life savings to the homeopathic doctors, you realize that they don't know what they're talking about.
They don't know
so you just don't say anything.
They don't know
But
diddles.
they all tell me this. They said, you are so slim, your numbers are so good with blood pressure, heart, and health to be in your 60s. They say, I wish I had your numbers. They can't. I'm healthier. Does that make sense? Because I eat so clean, and I enjoy what I'm eating because there's so many great recipes and things. I really enjoy it.
Great.
So.
Okay, Carol Ann, thank you so much.
Okay.
Happy New Year. Keep coming back. Love to hear your sweet Georgia peach voice.
Thank you. You too. And I'll leave y'all with this.
Okay.
Since our little friend Robin's not here, always remember this: a positive attitude may not solve all of your problems, but it will annoy enough people to make it worth the effort.
Fantastic. Okay, great. We can use that in stress management.
Thank you,
All right,
Richard.
thank you.
I want to do the questionnaire with you soon, so I'll get back with you on that later.
Sure. Okay.
On the email.
Who's
Thank
next?
you.
You're welcome. Who's next, Chris?
Why is everyone not susceptible of catching Morgellons? And the ones that are, why do they get it? And why do some get it and some don't? Thank you so much.
Wow. That question, that is really a question. You know, they've been trying to figure that out since 2002. And Randy Wymore at Oklahoma State University studied just about everything, and with his analysis and his data, and it doesn't matter whether you have high blood pressure, low blood pressure, whether you've got asthma or no asthma, or whether you have cancer, no asthma, cancer, or heart attacks or no heart attacks. It doesn't matter. There is no reason or rhyme or reason why some people get it and others don't, according to his research. However, I don't think he looked into pheromones. And I think pheromones are the answer, and that's why we do carry pheromones in our store. And I thank Mary, my co-host today, for introducing them to us, because for some reason or other, these organisms seem to be pheromone driven. And when we hear Chris talk about enzymes and dealing with mites are pheromone driven, and that's why the enzymes destroy them. So my best guess is it's the pheromones, and that's why some people are susceptible and others are not.
I was doing my laundry at my daughter's and soaking my clothes in ammonia, but she moved out of her house, and now I have to use a public laundromat. And she has a concern about me using ammonia. And do I need to be concerned about using ammonia if other people are using bleach? Or
I don't think so. It's a personal preference, because specifically with colored clothing, you would never use bleach. You would use ammonia. That's what I've known since I've been doing laundry since I've been 20 years old.
Yeah, she was wondering, like, if I used a washing machine where someone had used bleach in it before, if there would be any residue of bleach left.
No, because it goes through a rinse cycle and all the bleach is washed out and rinsed out. So there's no issue there. Of course, you would not want to mix bleach and ammonia together. It would form dangerous chlorine that would kill you. But there's no concern about that. The washing machine does a rinse and gets rid of all of it.
Okay, thank you. I also have another question. I used to drink a lot of ozonated water, but once I started on my diet, the King diet, I quit doing the ozonated water. I was wondering, could I benefit from the water again, maybe, or?
I would stick with our. Are you using our ionic minerals?
No, I am not.
All right, that's the route to go. You see, it is said, not my claim, it is said that the antidote to Morgellons is to boron, and apple cider vinegar. The reason of apple cider vinegar primarily is to raise the pH. Now, we can't have apple cider vinegar simply because organisms, specifically Columbella, thrive on it for some reason.
Yeah.
The fermentation.
Yes,
so our alternatives are two. One is a teaspoon of baking soda on an empty stomach. I think it's twice a day, the protocol. Or using our ionic minerals. The Nature's Gift ionic minerals come in little sachets, like a little tiny tea bag. Best is to use demineralized water, distilled water, in a glass jar or a Lexan, L-E-X-A-N, plastic, very hard plastic. And nothing other than that, because the pH of the water goes to about 10.5 when you put the sachet into that water. So this alkalizes the water, pH 10.5, tastes wonderful. You drink it, it alkalizes your system and serves the purpose of apple cider vinegar, and also has 70 trace minerals in the right ratios that your body wants them. So that is, you can get it individually, or you can get it part of our Pack of Life nutritional supplement program, which is Max 1 glutathione, our multi-minerals, let me correct that. Max 1 multi-vitamins, the ionic minerals, and the garcillin.
Okay, thank you.
If you haven't completed the questionnaire, send back an email, and I'll be glad to send you the questionnaire, from which I'll explain to you how you can figure out what organisms you're dealing with, and also the specific recommendations.
Oh, and I just loved your chocolate over the holidays. It was just so wonderful.
Fantastic.
Thank you, thank you.
You're most welcome. Glad you enjoy it. I can't stop eating it once I start. You know, I have to admit, when you first bite into bitter chocolate, it's dark chocolate. It's not sweet. You know, no dark chocolate is sweet. It just doesn't happen. So it's dark chocolate, and it's got that kind of bitter taste. And you first feel, and then you have a little bit of lactose-free milk and a walnut if you're on stage 2, and you're in heaven. And you want another bite, and you can't stop. That's where I go anyway.
Yes. It was a taste of heaven. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Okay, who's next, Chris?
It's from Michelle, and says, I'm going to start the diet. Can I use vinegar in a salad? There's no sugar according to the label. Thanks for any info.
Well, yes, I already answered it. No vinegar until you're mid-stage 2 or late stage 2, because vinegar, no matter what form it is, will feed the organisms. It's fermented. Next question.
Next one says, hello, Richard. What's good for the throat? I'm coughing and choking a lot. It makes my throat sore. What can I take at home, and other suggestions? Thank you.
Well, I don't know if she's actually dealing with a sore throat, like the beginning of a flu or a cold virus, or exactly, because she didn't get into that. But the times that I get them, I use and I gargle with our mouthwash. Now, I can lie down and I just let that mouthwash you don't even have to gargle, just let it seep into the back of your throat. Sometimes I've added a dropper full of the Morgellons cocktail, which is a few more really powerful essential organic oils. And I'm not necessarily recommending this, because it can be, I get to the point where my throat is so numb that I can't tell that there's anything alive in there, much less even my throat being alive. But that pretty well destroys anything that's ever been in my throat. And a few hours later, I'm pretty much back to normal. So I'm not saying I recommend you doing that. That's what I've been doing, and it's worked for me, knock on wood. I guess that's it, right? No more?
Right. Yep.
Well, thank you, Mary.
No, Richard, there is one more. I'm sorry.
Okay.
This is from Susie, and she says, "Hi, Richard. Just wondering if it's okay to take Parasite Stop and calcium deyclex at the same time. I'm coming off of taking Abilify for the last 20 months for bird mites that infested me, stemming from a mouth fungal infection. I want to substitute with 2 of your supplements if I have itching and symptoms again."
There is no problem taking calcium deyclex. Now, calcium deyclex is actually undecylenic acid. And what it does is it inhibits the production of the root, the hyphae, Hyphaee, I think it's spelled, of all fungal organisms have like a root structure, and it's called hyphae. That is what absorbs the nutrients from the host, whether it be your body or a fungus growing on a wall. It's absorbing nutrients. So the deyclex inhibits the production of that. And the Parasite Stop Formula is a combination of herbs that reduce the uptake of dopamine in the brain. Now, the amazing thing about this, and it's kind of sad, is that the gal who put this together, our herbalist, Barbara, she's incredibly smart when it comes to herbs, can't take this formula because there's something or a combination in there that makes her sluggish and tired. So you do want to watch for side effects and you do want to read the description in the store carefully, because it's got a lot of powerful herbs in there that reduce dopamine uptake, and they have some other incredibly beneficial health advantages as well. So it's really a tremendous supplement, but you just want to be careful that you're not having adverse reactions to it. Okay, would you like to add anything, Mary, before we close?
Nope, I'm good. Thank you.
Good. Okay, I want to thank you for filling in for Robin today, and I want to thank Chris for handling the technical aspects as he usually does, and both of you making your time available for all of us on New Year's Day. Wish everybody Happy New Year's. May the best be yet to come. And that concludes this segment.